Hey, welcome back, Ram fans. I have my Week 12 Rams Up Straight Up picks for you. By the time you hear this, the Thursday night game's probably already underway or over. But for the record, I'm taking the Steelers. Kind of a no-brainer for that one, I think. And how did I do last week? Well, not too bad. I went 11-3, but Pete went 12-2, a rare week where he bested me. So he picked up one game on me. We were divided on three games, and two of them went his way. I correctly picked the Saints over the Browns, and he correctly picked the Chargers over the Bengals and the Steelers over the Ravens. So I maintain a 7-pick lead over Pete. I'm 106 correct, 60 wrong. He's sitting at 99 correct, 67 wrong. So that first game, Thursday night, Steelers 8-2 at the Browns 2-8. Steelers came in favored by just 3.5, and that seems low, but when you look at this Steeler offense, they're actually ranked fairly well, but they do seem to win games just on the strength of field goals. That's happened a couple of times. So this Browns defense could keep it close if the Steelers can't get into the end zone. Steelers lead this series, but the Browns have won 4 of the last 6, and the Browns are second last in scoring, 16 points a game, and the Steelers are second in scoring defense. You guessed it, 16 points a game. So I don't think the Browns are going to get to 16 points in this game. They may struggle to get to double digits. I don't expect the Steelers to put up a bunch of points either, though. So low scoring game, Steelers win it. Next up, the Chiefs 9-1 at the Panthers 3-7. Chiefs favored by 11. This is a horrible time for the Panthers to be taking on the Chiefs. I mean, it's never a good time to be taking on the Chiefs, but they're coming off their only loss of the season at Buffalo. So, pretty easy selection there. Don't think the Panthers have much of a chance in that one. The 8-2 Vikings at the 4-6 Bears. Vikings favored by 3.5. Bears almost knocked off the Packers last week. Would do the Rams good if the Bears could pull off the upset here. Remember, the Bears the Bears may be fairly irrelevant at this point, but if we want the Vikings or Packers to be locked in the Rams with the Rams in a tiebreaker scenario for a wild card spot, we prefer the Vikings. So we'd like to see the Vikings drop off. Rams would win the tiebreaker there head-to-head anyways. Bears play pretty good defense, and the Bears beat the Vikings last December. That broke a 5-game losing streak against the Vikings, but I'm taking the Vikings to knock off the Bears. As much as I would like the Bears to pull off the upset, I think, maybe they've turned the corner a little bit. They played much better last week against the Packers. Or did the Packers play down to the Bears level? I'm not sure, but I'll roll with the Vikings. The 2-8 Titans travel to play their AFC South rivals, the Houston Texans. This is the Houston Oilers against the Houston Texans, actually. Titans 2-8, Texans 7-4. Texans favored by 8. Texans have won the last 3. They are by far the better team, especially at the quarterback position, and they're at home. So, I don't see an upset happening here. The Lions 9-1 at the Colts 5-6. Lions favored by 7.5, and they're trying to preserve that number 1 seed. They're in a really good place. The Colts are a little bit more desperate. They're trying to qualify for the dance, just get into the playoffs. I like the Colts' chances of keeping it competitive. Anthony Richardson, I assume, is getting the call again. And, I don't know if this is a defense you want to be running against that much if you're a quarterback, but I have a feeling Richardson may rely on his legs a lot more than you would prefer. And that probably isn't the answer here. The Lions are just too good right now. Colts will keep it competitive, but Lions win. The 3-8 Patriots travel to Miami to play the rejuvenated 4-6 Dolphins. Dolphins favored by 7. They played in early October. New England the Dolphins won that one 15-10. That was in New England. Tyler Huntley was playing quarterback for the Dolphins. Divisional opponents, Drake May playing well. It'll be closer than you think. Patriots always seem to rise to the occasion as far as the defense goes. And Drake May, I really liked what I saw. First time I really watched him play in that game against the Rams, and I was impressed. So Dolphins are going to win this game, but don't be surprised if it's relatively close. The 4-6 Bucks at the 2-8 Giants. Giants 6-point underdogs. This is Tommy DeVito versus Baker Mayfield. No Drew Lock, no Daniel Jones. Man, Drew Lock was obviously pretty upset about not getting the call there. And my understanding is, an article I read, is that they're going to part ways with Drew Lock at the end of the year. They don't want him getting hurt and having to pay him. So they're just washing their hands of Drew Lock, maybe washing their hands of Daniel Jones, if that's even possible. I don't know what his contract situation is. I know he got paid a year or two ago. So it's Tommy DeVito time. The Bucks have lost 4 straight. They're coming off a bye. The Giants have lost 5 straight, also coming off of their bye. Neither team has won then since early October, and both have suffered overtime losses in that spell. But the Bucks, it's still there for them. They can still make a run at the Falcons. Falcons are really struggling. This is a game the Bucks need to win to get back on track, and I think they will. The Cowboys 3-7 at the Commanders 7-4. Now, who would have thought that those would be the records of these two teams going into this season, going into Week 12? You think it'd be flipped, right? Cowboys would be pursuing the Eagles for first place, and the Commanders would be rebuilding around Jaden Daniels. But Commanders need this one to get back on track. Lost 2 straight to the Pennsylvania teams, the Steelers and the Eagles back-to-back. Cowboys have dominated this series, including 5 out of the last 6, but throw that out the window. This is Jaden Daniels versus Cooper Rush, not Dak Prescott versus Sam Howell. And I'm not throwing any shade on Sam Howell. I think he may have a future somewhere. Remember, he's buried on the depth chart there in Seattle. Rams made a run at him, a quarterback I like. I don't know why I'm talking about Sam Howell right now, pretty irrelevant. But just to give you an idea of how things have flipped for these two franchises, especially at the quarterback position. The Broncos are 6-5. They travel to Las Vegas to play the Raiders, who are 2-8. Broncos favored by 6, and they've been hanging their hat on their defense all season, and maybe their offense behind Bo Nix is starting to catch up. Broncos giving up less than 17 points a game, and if you saw Bo Nix's numbers last week, man, really good news for Broncos fans. They'll present some serious issues. The Broncos defense will present some really serious issues for this Raiders offense that doesn't have much going for it outside of their tight end, Brock Bowers. So, yeah, I think the Broncos will win this quite easily. The 49ers, 5-5 at Green Bay. The Packers are 7-3. Packers favored by 2. Joey Bosa looks like he's out. Not sure if Kittle's going to be back. Brandon Ayuk, of course, is out. Deebo Samuel is playing, but man, it's not just me. I know it's not just me. Deebo Samuel is not the player he was just a year or two ago. I don't see it. He looks slow and not very dynamic at all. Not the threat that he used to present to defenses. I just don't see it. Averaging under 3 yards per carry when he runs the ball. And I don't know, man. I think the 49ers are in trouble. Now, the 49ers have ended the Packers season twice in the playoffs recently, and this may be payback time for the Packers. They could really put a dent in the 49ers playoff pursuit. And these are two quarterbacks that, in my opinion, are a little bit overrated. I'm not saying they're not good quarterbacks, but they're not all that. They're not what people think they are, in my opinion, especially Purdy. Watch some tape on him Uh, just today, Chase Daniels calling out some weaknesses in his game, and I've seen it over and over again. I'm not digging for this stuff. It just keeps falling onto my lap. Concerns about Brock Purdy, his ability to play at a championship level. He's pretty darn good when he's surrounded with all of the weapons that they had recently. Now they're just another offense, really. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, yeah, I get it. He's still incredible, but I just don't see it happening for the 49ers moving forward. They could pull off a win here, but I'm taking the Packers because I think the Packers are a little bit overrated too, which is why they are not in my top 12. Remember, the Bears should have beat the Packers last week. They had that field goal blocked, the game-winning field goal blocked by the Packers, preserving the win. So, pump the brakes on the Packers. I know some people are really in love with their potential, their ability to make a deep playoff run even, and I'm not seeing it. And a couple of teams have proven me wrong already this year, including the Steelers. So we'll see if the Packers prove me wrong. The 6-4 Cardinals go to Seattle. Seattle's 5-5. Cardinals favored by 1, and this can understate what a big game this is as far as how the NFC West is going to fall out here. If the Cardinals win, they create a little bit more separation, certainly with the Seahawks, potentially with the 49ers and Rams too, depending on what happens in their games. If the Seahawks win, we just push this NFC West fiasco ahead 1 week, and we'll see how it plays out next week. If the Seahawks win, takes a little bit of pressure off the 49ers and the Rams moving forward. If the Seahawks win and the Rams win and the 49ers were to lose, suddenly the Rams are sitting kind of pretty. They would just have to focus on, well, shouldn't say they just have to focus, but that Rams-Cardinals rematch would loom very large as far as who's going to end up winning this division. Really good game on Sunday night. The 7-4 Ravens travel to SoFi to take on the Chargers. This is a really tough game to pick, probably the most difficult one for me to pick. This Ravens defense is, however, not what we are accustomed to seeing from this franchise, giving up 24 points a game. Meanwhile, the Chargers have given up just 145 points all season. That's a league best. Although the Bengals did, punch them in the nose a couple of times with their offense, but that's Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, right? Now you have Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. I think the Chargers defense is the type of defense that can deal with Henry. Not so sure about Jackson, but no significant trend between these two teams. 9-6 in favor of the Ravens. The Ravens have beaten the Chargers both times they've come to LA to play them. But I'm going to go with the Chargers here. I went with the Bengals last week, and Chargers proved me wrong. I just like the makeup, the mentality of this team. Ravens are getting to be the division is slipping away from them. Any shot at winning the AFC North is slipping away from them very quickly. It makes this game important to them. But the Chargers, they have a really good shot at the number 1 wild card slot. They're not going to win the AFC West. They have their eyes on the Broncos, though, and a team like the Ravens. So this game could go a long way to deciding the wild card pecking order. And I'm going to take the home team. And, I don't feel very strongly about it. Flip a coin on who's going to win this one. But I like I guess I'm favoring the Chargers defense out of all 4 of these units taking the field. I think the Chargers defense is going to carry the day. And then finally, the Eagles 8-2 at SoFi on Sunday night. Eagles favored by 3. That's holding pretty steady. And we talked about it quite a bit during the roundtable. The Eagles have that 6-game winning streak, but only won against a team with a winning record. That was the Commanders. So I have a lot of respect for the Eagles. the offense and the defense pretty much loaded, especially the offense. They got wide receivers, they got the running back, they got the quarterback, they got the offensive line, they got the tight end. They have everything in place to be a rock solid offense. So they're going to be a big test for the Rams. The Rams are going to have to limit Saquon Barkley. But I think this Rams team has turned a corner, especially on defense. They got all their weapons back on offense. Their offensive line, even if Rob Havenstein can't go, feel pretty good about it. The one thing the Eagles don't do is pressure the quarterback real well. And if you can't pressure Matthew Stafford, watch out with guys like Kupp and Puka. Obviously the Eagles secondary is also stacked. They Quinyon Mitchell back there, one of the best rookies, if not the best. Well, he's the best rookie secondary player, period, and a candidate for defensive rookie of the year, along with Jared Verse and Braden Fisk. But I think Puka and Kupp and this Rams offense can neutralize his skills. Rams will take advantage of. Well, I don't know what they're going to take advantage of. Sean McVay hopefully will figure something out and get this offense rolling once and for all against a Vic Fangio defense, which has been the kryptonite against Sean McVay offenses. But not this time. Rams pull it off, and as I made a pretty bold prediction last week, I said Michael Hoyt was going to block an extra point. So I'm going to continue to make bold predictions. Xavier Smith in the return game makes a big play, and Joshua Carty has the game-winning field goal to restore our faith in special teams. That was the only unit that slipped a little bit last week against the Patriots. They bounced back. Complete win for the Rams, and they could potentially be tied with the Cardinals next week atop the NFC West. They pull off this win. Rams 24, Eagles 23, out here from Rams Up.